Hello, my name is Margaret Adele, and welcome to the second reading updates video for the Reindeer Readathon. These are reading updates, not vlogs, because they are going to be nightly check-ins as opposed to filming my daily life as I go about it, because work in an elementary school in the holiday season is a lot. And so you think that I would be reading all of my fluffy books. That's what I intended on doing, a Regency romance. A mid-grade. No. I am currently in the middle of two books. The first being Unravel the Dusk by Elizabeth Lim. This is the sequel to Spin the Dawn, and so much goes wrong. I mean, so much went wrong at the end of the first book, and it just goes wronger in this one. Even more fast-paced, wronger than the first book did. And I'm not so sure it's gonna have a happy ending. So I could have had this finished by now, but I keep putting it off because I'm not prepared. So the other book that I've been focusing a little more on is Valkyrie by Meg Ledwa. And you would think that if this book being dark was bothering me, that my other book would be like nicer and fluffier. It's not. It needs a bunch of content warnings. We're dealing with an evil dystopian government and gore and death and illness and cesarean in the middle of a church floor at one point. That was a great scene. And for some reason it's working for me. I don't know why. A couple days ago I did do the audiobook, which was Starfall by Jessie Kwok, and I kind of stumbled across the fact that I'm in a really big sci-fi mood. And this is the annoying thing about being a mood reader, is that I don't always know what the mood I'm in is until I suddenly read a book that hits it, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I know what the mood I'm in now currently is before it inevitably changes. So I'm hoping it'll carry through reading Valkyrie, because that is my chonker, and it is the book that I have tried so many times to read and always DNF'd, like temporarily, without unhauling. I think this is like the third or fourth time I have tried to read this book, and I got farther. I have gotten farther than I ever have in any of my previous reads. I am at page 200 now, which is still not even halfway through. It's over 500 pages, but it's just, it keeps turning darker, but also, and partly, probably the reason that I'm going more with that one than this one is our enemies to lovers sapphic romance has like shown the first inklings, the first like beginnings of things, them not being enemies anymore. And I'm like here for it. That's why I started it in the first place. That's why I got it forever ago. I think I got it in 2020 purely based on the cover. Like an artist had done like an animated version of the cover for promotion, and she did a great job because it worked on me. I wanted the book after seeing the cover, so A+. I'm not usually like that. I don't usually cover buy books, but that's the one I'm loving right now, even though everything in it is going wrong, and I'm avoiding all of the real world political stuff right now. But for some reason, the dystopia is just working for me, and I guess I'm just gonna be through my heaviest, biggest book before I even get on Christmas break, but maybe that's for the best. I do still have the queer retelling of The Fall of Lucifer, and I'm pretty sure that one's not going to have a happy ending. Although, fun fact, someone was talking about it in Book Talk, and someone was like asking if it had a happy ending, and everyone's like, it's The Fall of Lucifer, my guy. I don't know what you're looking for. So I'm looking forward to that one. I've seen a lot of like character art for it. It's great. I love it. But regardless, I really think that I can do a lot of reading before even the holiday break starts. And I'm hoping that work holds steady for the most part. I don't need any miracles, but just it would be nice if I continued to enjoy my evenings at least, or maybe had a little bit more brain space to read at work. However, that is it for today. I will check in with you again tomorrow. So, it is actually December 8th, 2 days later. This week has not gone great for me, And so I decided to put the readathon reading on hold, and I went and I found an ARC on an ARC site that I've been meaning to get back to, and it allows me to search for ARCs based on genre. It is Book Sirens. I will have the link down in the description if you're interested in it. And I decided to at least get one review out this month since I didn't have any on my readathon TBR. But then the book ended up being kind of middling. It did the thing I hate where a giant chunk of the book is actually an excerpt from the next book. Like the actual story for that book ended at like 87% and the rest was an excerpt. That is so frustrating to me as someone who likes longer books. But today, after I finished it and I got the written reviews out, I don't think I'll do a video review just because I didn't get it from the author and it is probably not going to be a great review. I did get to another 50 pages of Valkyrie by Meg Ludwa, and things are really picking up. A lot of very dark things, but also you can start to see the beginnings of the to lovers part of the enemies to lovers romance, and our protagonist from the upper echelons has finally realized the horrors that her family participated in and has had her eyes open, and I'm pretty sure things are going to turn even darker in the second half of the book. But I am really proud of myself because this is the book that I have repeatedly put down and walked away from, and I am almost halfway through it, and it's the farthest I've ever gotten. So I really, really think that I could finally get this one read and also get, I think, the biggest book off my TBR out of the way. And all during one of the worst weeks of the month. So, you know, we're going to keep at it. Don't know what tomorrow may bring, but I hope I'm in a good reading mood. So, I skipped another day. Today is Saturday, December 10th, which theoretically would have been the day I finished this if I was reading every day. But Friday, while a lot of fun, was also a lot. I got to go on a field trip with one of our students, and it was awesome. I haven't gone to chaperone a field trip yet. The thing is that the field trip was Deaf Day, in which all of the deaf and hard of hearing kids in our district are brought into one place, and they get to do crafts and have an ugly sweater contest and a raffle and all of this. It was a lot of fun. But the thing is that children already are noisy. But deaf and hard of hearing kids have no concept of how loud they're being. So by the time we were done, I had fun. It was great. But I was overstimulated to hell. And I literally ended up sitting in complete silence for 2 hours when I got home because I couldn't handle any noise. So reading, focusing, especially on the books that were like dark and heavy topics, was like out of the question, was not gonna happen. So today I took it as a reset day, cleaning the house, running the errands, like doing all this stuff so that I could go into the final week before Christmas break with as few responsibilities as possible. And also I did manage to read a nice chunk of Unravel the Dusk by Elizabeth Lim. And it's just racing. It's going way too fast, honestly. I kind of was having like some slight issues with it before, but there are these like giant world-defining battles happening in the space of like 30 pages, and it's happening like repeatedly, like another big battle, another big thing, but in these rapid fire chunks. So nothing is hitting as hard. And it doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of downtime, because that's what I originally thought, right? Like, oh, we're just bucking the 3-act structure. We're going to have the big climactic scene happen early and then have a large amount of action after the fact, like happens in some non-Western storytelling methods. But no, things are still picking up. The big badness is still happening. It's not falling action. It's just a lot. And it's not that I'm not enjoying it. I like the concepts. I like the tension. I like the, things falling apartness to a certain extent. But again, This definitely should have been a trilogy, and I get why this sequel has been rated lower than the first one, but I am still liking it. I don't want to make it sound like I'm not. It's still very rich world building, and it's still very intriguing. It's just a little too rapid fire for anything to land with the appropriate amount of gravitas that I think the author is going for. I would assume the author is going for based on just the sheer magnitude of the plot points happening. But I am enjoying it. I will definitely finish it in one more day of reading. I'm hoping that day of reading is tomorrow because I would like to get another book for the readathon done. And this is also one of my Pop Sugar books, and it would get another series removed off of my spreadsheet. So I really want this one done for a multitude of reasons. And also, I'm still pretty sure it's going to be tragic. Like, the more it goes, I'm still pretty sure that there's not a lot of room left for a happy ending. I don't know, but I will check in with you, the next day I've done reading. Not only did I not skip a day this time, I also finished Unravel the Dusk by Elizabeth Lim. So now I have my comment prompt for the Reindeer Readathon covered, and I have finished one of my Pop Sugar reading prompt books. Only 3 more to go before the end of the year. I am hyped. And this one, the ending wasn't the tragedy that I was expecting, but it also didn't feel as satisfying. And I don't need tragedy. Like, I wasn't like, I need the angst of the drama of the tragedy. No, it just didn't feel like the ending that the book was leading up to. And of course we had more battles that were rushed through. Like, at one point I thought, oh, okay, we're leading into this big battle and this is going to be the rest of the book, right? I thought that this big battle is going to be the end of it. But no, there was like a battle and then another smaller battle and then another thing happened, and it's like, that's too much big things in such a small space. None of them land. But I really did like the magic, and there were a lot of tear-jerking moments near the end, a lot of emotions and feels, and some... Is it fabulism if it's Chinese culture based, or is that magical realism? I don't know the exact difference between that, but it was very nice and grandiose. I do think I agree with the general ratings on Goodreads that the second was not as high a rating as the first one. I think I do prefer the first one more. But again, that's because I would have liked to see more space given to these giant fantasy magic demon battles. And in general, I am really happy. I would probably read something else by this author. I assume this author probably has something else in the works. I don't know. I am trying to be the data girly that checks up on regular authors, but we will see. More than anything, I'm just happy that I have another book done for both the Readathon and the Pop Sugar Challenge. I've already been looking to 2023 and getting things started there, and I'm really excited. And I am actually going to end these updates here. Not quite as long as the first one, but I have finished a book. It is Sunday evening. It seems like a good place to wrap it up. Hopefully later on in the month, I can do actual proper, reading vlogs where I show little daily bits of my life. We've got one more week to get through of school before we are done for the rest of the calendar year and on to our 2 weeks of holiday break that I'm so looking forward to. But if you have ever read this series or you want to, you can let me know down in the comments below. If you're participating in the Reindeer Readathon, obviously let me know that as well. I am looking forward to what I'm going to read next, so stay tuned if you want to follow along. And with nothing else to say, I hope you have a wonderful day and a marvelous tomorrow.